All right, been out detecting a little bit earlier this evening, and so I'm going to add some new coins to my test garden. And what's a test garden? That is where I plant coins in my yard so I can test my metal detector, my different coils and so forth. So this is a 1942S. These are all I wonder if that's a war nickel. What year did the war nickels come out? Because they'd be 35%. Yeah, this one is not a war nickel. This one is 35%. So I wonder if they came out in 35. Margaret, Gabe, Joseph, Dan, Abram. So again, I bought these coins just to put them in my test garden. So these are 35% silver. Here's a 43P, which is Philadelphia. And again, I'm going to put these in the test garden so I can test my metal detector. So this one does not say if it's silver, so I'm curious if it is or not. That's a 45S, which would be San Francisco. So we're going to put 4 of them in the ground. Come over here to the backyard, kick on some lights. And so if you guys have looked at my test garden before, I have pre-64 silver quarters here. I have pre-64 dimes here. So these are 90% silver. We have the coins here I just buried. These are the Indian pennies. I think that was last night. So let's see. I want to make sure I get a correct measurement on this. So we go to the halfway mark. So it is 8 feet. So we're going to go 4 feet. I'm going to use a T-square. I want to make sure I'm exactly square on this. So we can come 4 feet off, which is right about there. So that's 4 feet off. And then I have 4 nickels, so I'll mark them. We'll mark it out. Whoops. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, and 4 foot. And if you're just joining us on the live, I'm actually burying some Indian nickels in my test garden for my metal detector so I can use some different settings and see how accurate everything is. So put these away. And I already have silver quarters, silver dimes, Indian pennies already buried. So if you guys don't mind sharing the live and liking, that'd be great. So now we can see so 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, and 4 feet. Don't want to get paint all over myself, so there we go. And so we have the first one's going in as a 42S. Then a 43P, another 43P, and a 45S. So put those in, put those in order. Let's see, there we go. So I'm going to bury these at 4, 6, 8, and 10 inches. I picked up a nickel in the park earlier, but unfortunately it was not a war nickel. War nickels are 35% silver. All right, so we put this one at 4 inches. Oops. And 4 inches is, where we at? Right there. I have to go a little bit deeper. So this one, I want to put flat down there. I want to make sure it is, that's the 43, I believe. A 43. It's hard to tell in this lighting. Whoops. Okay, that is a 40. Let's just keep it simple, just because I kind of mixed them up a little bit. I want to make sure I know, in case that 42 is not a war nickel, which means it's not silver. So there is a 43. There's a 45. What did that say? The 45S, San Francisco. There's the 42. So there's the 42. We're going to put the 42 flat at 4 inches. Gonna make sure we're see if I can make sure that's flat. It is. It might be a little deeper than 4 inches. Let's see. Then the next one we're going to do 6 inches. And this one will be a 43. Sorry for the shaking there. Let's see. Let's make sure we grab a 43. That's a 45. That's a 43. So again, the war nickels are 35% silver. So we want this one at 6 inches, which would be right about there. Hey, Lincoln, appreciate it. I have a new feature here on TikTok, which is supposed to read me out the comments. I'm not sure if it's working. So if somebody wants to comment, it's supposed to, because my phone's so close to my chest. When I'm digging and all that, I can't see it. That's definitely 6 inches. Okay. All right, so that's going to be 6 inches. That's definitely 6 inches down there. All right, and that one's going to be on edge. So we have this one flat, the 4 inch. The 6 inch is on edge. And then we're going to go, I'll have to get my bigger shovel out for this one. We're going to go 8 inches here. Again, this just helps when I'm detecting out in the field, so I know if my coil's working, my settings are correct. I'm going to dig more of a proper plug here. So that'll be a 43 as well. Let's see. Again, I bought these coins because the ones I find I don't like to bury. But I do want to kind of tune my detector as good as possible. All right. So we have 4, 6. This should be 8 inches. If you're right at the end of the coil. I'll put this bad boy flat down here. Let's see. And again, this will be moving as I water my yard. All right. Be moving as I water my yard. All right. I mark all this so I know where everything is later on. Put that away because that's not going to be deep enough now. Everything is later on. Put that away because that's not going to be deep enough now. All right, this is the last one. This will be a 45 war nickel at 10 inches. And that's a hell of a target if you can dig a coin at 10 inches. Is pretty good. Let's see. If you dig a plug, if you can do it like a horseshoe and leave it attached to the root system, it shouldn't kill the grass. There we go. All right. Grab the last one. So again, we have what's this one? A 45. That's 90% silver, or excuse me, 35% silver. If that was a dime or a $50, a quarter, those would be 90% silver. I'll lay that there. Those would be 90% silver. I'll lay that there. We're down, let's see. I think we've got to go a little deeper. That's about 8 inches there. I think we've got to go a little deeper. That's about 8 inches there. Maybe a little too far out. Okay, yeah, that's definitely going to be 10 inches. This will be, see if I can feel it. Whoops. That's going to be flat as well, which is good. That's a little bit better of a signal than on edge. Whoops. Make sure I turn that off. Tamp that down. Now, let's see if the manocore will pick these up. And it should pick this up at about a 27 to 28, which is normally a nickel. So I'll crank the volume up because I'm in my own backyard. All-terrain, general, turn that. Noise cancel. Ground balance. Nice and quiet. Recovery speed, we'll go 4, give us a little more depth. And if you guys are seeing this, you think there's any other settings I should try, just let me know. There's our, let's see. We'll crank up our, so it's seen at 27, 28. It actually likes a 6-inch one a little bit better. 8-inch. So it's not seeing it. It's seeing a target down there, but it's really not seeing That's a nickel. And I don't think it's seeing the 10-inch at all. So I'm going to switch it over to, well, let's change the volume. Ground balance. Let me change the ground balance a little bit. Well, it likes the 2. Let me change settings or sensitivity down to 20. Okay. Yeah, it's still picking up a 26. It's a little choppy. If I was moving, I may not dig that. Turn off all metal mode. Not as clear as I would hope it would be. I mean, it's still something I would investigate. But that's way off what I would think a nickel would be. And that 10-inch is turned 90. Yeah, it's not even grabbing it. It senses something down there deep, but not enough to really make it chirpy. 8-inch, that's bringing it up in the almost like an iron range. Now, a 6-inch, I would dig that all day long. I dug 2 of them earlier today, as a matter of fact. Well, I take that back. Mine were not war nickels. So I've never found a war nickel in the field. And so it might not be as clear as a normal nickel that's made of all nickel, where this is 35% silver. So I'll have to do some more playing around with that. What I want to do is change this over to high conductors. Let's see, noise cancel. Likes 9. Ground balance. Looks like it likes 3. Recovery speed. Ferrous volume. I'm going to put on normal. It's squeaking through at 27, 28. This one's coming in a little lower. 8-inch is coming in the 50s. And it's barely detecting the 10-inch. So I'll have to play with the settings. So if I go to, well, there'd be no reason to go to low. I could try fast. You definitely hear that chirp, which makes you stop, you know. It's even squeaking through a little bit on that 10-inch. You gotta figure 10-inch is pretty long, though. But on fast, it's coming in at a 6 to 8, which I'm not really familiar with those VDI tones, because I normally run in either general or high. So let's see, noise cancel, ground balance. I'm gonna drop my recovery speed to 1, which should give us a little more depth. Let's see. This is coming through on the 8. Well, that'd be the 6-inch, 35% silver nickel. But the one that's on edge, it's not even grabbing it. Yep, there it grabbed it. So I turn. And that's why none of these parks and schools and homes can ever be hunted out, because based upon how you turn and which angle you're coming in at, what kind of coil, what kind of machine, your depth settings. So that's coming as a nice clean 2627, which is a nickel. Go a little low, 25, 24, but I would still dig that. That one's coming in at 44 because the overall depth of it. It's showing it on the 2D screen a little bit at 10 inch, but not enough where I would even stop if I was walking in a park or something. And again, that's recovery speed 1. Let's crank it up. 8's max. Let's go to 6. Just grabbing the 4, the 6, the 8. We came over to the end and pennies. I buried these last night. It's barely grabbing that 10 inch. Then we have dimes here. And then we have quarters here. So even that quarter's coming in low. Normally I would think it'd come in the 80s. But a lot of times I'll see a 60 and be like, oh, it's just another penny, and I'll pass on it. So again, it just shows what settings you have it set at. Like, that's a deep one there. That's 10 inches, I believe. That's a pre-64 quarter. You see how it gets into the 80s. So there you go. So now we have quarters, we have dimes, we have end and pennies, we have war nickels, and we have quite a few other, quite a few other pieces that I'll be burying in the test garden as I clean it up and make sure there's no iron and coins and so forth in there. Some half dollars. We have a few more pre-64, 90% silver. Some half dollars. We have a few more pre-64, 90% silver. Coins that are all copper, which would be kind of cool because those could come up the same tone as tokens. It'd be really cool to find some mining tokens, because back in the day, a lot of these folks who worked at the mines, they were paid in script. And so they were paid in coins, and they could only redeem those coins at the company's market. And so you were basically owned by that mine because you couldn't take your coins. They weren't worth anything anywhere else. So if you wanted to pay your rent, you wanted to go buy food or whatnot, you had to use those coins and that script. So let's see, there's what's that, 64? That's a 90% silver half dollar. We're burying all this. This is just stuff I found. Coins, these are all pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes, pre-World War II 3-ringers. They're actually called mini balls because it was named after the guy Minnie who created those. Pendants, gold. I dug this gold neck or gold bracelet live here on Facebook, or excuse me, TikTok. Sapphire and diamonds. We're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I thought there was another one. Maybe 14 rings so far, so it's been a good last couple of weeks. So, and a 1930s reindeer Christmas ornament from a Cracker Jack box. I actually looked at it as though it was like that. I thought it was like a duck or something like that. Somebody else on TikTok said to flip it over, and there you go. It's a reindeer. and it came out of the ground just like that, which is just crazy up in Salt Lake City, right out of the ground, maybe 4 inches down. And the only thing that's bent is the nose a little bit. So pretty cool. Thanks, folks, for being on the live. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.